What are stories but mystery boxes? There's a fundamental question. In TV, the first act is called the teaser. It's literally the teaser. It's the big question. So you're drawn into it. Then, of course, there's another question, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, look at, like, Star Wars. You got the droids. They meet the mysterious woman. Who's that? We don't know. Mystery box, you know. Then you meet Luke Skywalker. He gets the droid. You see the holographic image. You learn, oh, it's a message. You know, she wants to, you know, find Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's her only hope. But who the hell is Obi-Wan Kenobi? Mystery box. So then you go, and he meets Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi's uncle is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Holy shit, you know. So it keeps it... Have you guys not seen that? It's huge.
So, JP.
Hey, Ron.
I think today we should talk about boxes.
Yes. One specific box.
Yeah.
The dirtiest of all boxes.
The mystery box.
The Lamar Chant configuration. That box.
What?
Right?
No.
Yeah, the puzzle box.
That's not the mystery
Solve
box.
the puzzle. And then I have such sights to show you.
That's
right?
not the box I wanted to talk
Nothing?
about. No.
I watched all those Hellraiser movies, even the direct-to-video ones.
I don't think that the person I want to talk about today had anything to do with Hellraiser, even though has kind of a varied past in filmmaking. I don't think he went near Hellraiser. But he is the man who came up with the mystery box.
Clive Barker.
No.
Oh. I got nothing.
Starts with a J. First name ends with a J.
Okay. Jeremiah Johnson.
No.
Wait, first name ends with a J?
First name starts with a J and ends with a J.
Oh, okay, I got it. J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. Yeah.
Much like the Lamar-Chant configuration.
He spoke in riddles.
You spoke in riddles. You made it an impossible box. I couldn't solve it, Ron.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about J.J. Abrams this week.
Yes. Well, first off, let's welcome everybody to the show.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This is
Star Wars Delusions of Granular.
Yes, I am Ron.
I am JP.
And
colloquially, we are known as SW Dog.
That's right.
There's going to be a lot of acronyms tonight.
Delusions of Granular, where we talk about all things Star Wars at a granular level.
That's right. And perhaps if you would like to join the conversation, you can reach us at our always helpful Gmail. That is swdog77@gmail.com.
That's right. Or talk to us, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/swdog.
That's right. And while we're trying to wait to tell you is, we also have a phone number you can call us at. That phone number is 651-33-SW-DOG, otherwise known as 651-337-9364. And that'll be available at all of our outlets.
Yeah, call and leave us a message.
Oh, and don't forget to tweet us.
That's right.
Yes.
We're on Twitter at swdog77.
So there we go. That's the housekeeping. That's the top of the show business.
That's right. So, speaking of social media and everything, as we're recording today, big news in the episode 7 news.
That's right. Marion Barry died, former mayor of Washington, D.C. at age 78.
Wow. Not the news I was talking about.
The Star Wars trailer. Yeah, that's big news. Big
right.
news. Yes.
I think you were on a different part of the internet today.
Oh, sorry.
I had no idea Marion Barry died.
Yeah.
I'm glad that SW Dog keeps everybody informed with who's died.
The first and fourth mayor of Washington, D.C., Ron.
Whether you are a
Very
Star Wars
man.
fan or not, come to SW Dog and we'll tell you who has died in and out of Star Wars.
He made it cool to smoke crack while you're a mayor.
That's
long
right.
before that Canadian guy.
Right.
So.
Right. Now everyone's doing it.
USA. Okay, so seriously.
Seriously.
Black Friday, Ron.
Dark Side Friday, I think we should term.
Yeah, has that been
phrase.
a thing yet? Do we
I don't
have
know.
a hashtag?
I don't think the fans have really grasped what's going on on Friday.
It's funny because they built up this hype. We talked about it in the last episode. I guess 2 episodes ago. Gosh, time's flying, Ron. 2014's almost over.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's not talk about which episode is airing now.
we spent enough time on
time travel.
That episode a while ago. They all know we're in the vortex now.
That's right. But we did talk about how they were going to release a trailer for or a teaser.
Yes.
A 1 minute teaser trailer for Star Wars, and that it was going to be big.
Yeah, someone was like, I wonder if they'll tag it on to Hobbit, and Disney was like, fuck no. It's going to be bigger. And we were like, bigger? Like you two putting it on my iPhone illegally?
Right.
Like that kind of big?
Right.
And they're like, no, we're just going to actually put it on.
We're just going to release it. Yeah, it's just going to be on like every movie for a day.
It seems like one of those crazy things where it's like, it's in the room, right? And they're like, okay, well, I got it bigger. How do we make it bigger? What do we do it? And some like coked up young executive's like, I know how to do it. You put it on every movie.
Right.
And then someone's like, let's do that. And then the big head honcho walks out of the room and they're like, all right, Gerald, how the fuck are we going to do that?
Oh, see, I see it differently. They're all sitting in a room and they're like, well, how are we going to release a trailer? And somebody's like, I don't know, but we got to make it bigger. And then, like, literally 9 hours later, they're like beating their heads up against the wall, trying to figure out what bigger means. And finally, like, let's just put it on every movie. Okay.
Some executives running off to the bathroom trying desperately to call Christopher Nolan.
IMAX. Do we put it in IMAX?
Can you do me a solid here, Nolan?
So, that's right, folks. We have found out as of today. But
that's right. Let's tell the people what it is.
The Star Wars teaser trailer is going to be on every movie from November 28th to the 30th. So basically
2 days.
The weekend of Thanksgiving.
2 days, and how many theaters, Ron? It's like 10, 12, 15?
I think so this morning,
I can't even tell the people the news is, because I don't understand it myself.
It didn't make any sense.
I know it's playing the theater on the block from us.
Right. Early this morning, Regal Cinema put on their website that it was going to be at these, 10 locations across the country.
Yeah.
And then, literally an hour later, they're like, no, we can't say that.
I like how they were trying to be, fun and sassy with the correction.
Yeah. They put a picture of Mon Mothma up there and said many Bothans died for this information.
Yeah, and it was
didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it wasn't applicable. It was just it was like a bunch of people not quite knowing how to. It was all these companies not knowing how to interface and make something pure and work together as a marketing ploy.
So then maybe a half hour later, JJ posts on Twitter in his handwritten notes that
cute notes.
Yeah, his cute notes. They had a little explosion and a TIE fighter on it, and he said, that we're going to be for Thanksgiving. We're going to be showing you a little bit of what we've been working on.
Yep, and then a little 88 seconds.
88 seconds. Yeah, he was. I think it said something like a tiny bit of what we've been working on, and Tiny had an asterisk by it, and in the little corner was 88 seconds.
And in the spirit of going granular, we both had different takes on what 88 seconds means.
Yes.
I personally thought it was the sequel to the Luke Perry film, 8 Seconds, which I've been waiting for years.
Wasn't that the rodeo movie?
Yeah, it was the rodeo movie.
I thought it was I obviously thought it meant 88 seconds, 88 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Star Wars is going to have time travel in it.
Yes, finally someone admits it. Yes.
Yeah,
that would be the most obvious thing.
But no, that's the length.
Yeah, it turns out that's the length of the trailer. Weird.
It's going to be.
We
read too much into it.
Sometimes it doesn't pay off to be granular.
So,
so you're going to be there, Ron?
I mean, I kind of have to, I guess.
I was all pumped. For
the theater is really in walking distance of where I live, so
I just realized I'm going to be out of town.
Are you really? You're not even going to see it?
I mean, I won't get back till Sunday evening. So because I was pumped. I was like, you know what? Let's get up early. Let's go see Hunger Games and fun. But no. So that's trailer news.
Well, I'll probably still have to go see it, I guess.
Well, yeah, someone's got to be out in the field reporting.
Yeah. The question is, will I stay and watch Hunger Games, or will I try to sneak into something else and see it again?
It's weird. Hunger Games had that very Empire Strikes Back ending last film. If you saw,
it was it was a fine film. I read all the books.
Oh yeah.
And I got to tell you, the third book, which is what this movie is.
Yeah, this is the final one.
Yeah, well, it's
part one of the final one.
Yeah, got to say, the books, took a nosedive for me. I was just like, wow, this is really bad.
You don't like the dark stuff, though. Not a
It
fan.
wasn't a bad. It was just like, it's not about the Hunger Games anymore.
Well, that's what they say. This new one. Fuck it. It's not Hunger Games podcast. Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Right. So I guess I'll go see it.
Next up on Star Wars news.
Yes.
You know what? Let's
save
save.
some for-
Let's save a little bit for the end.
Yeah.
A little teaser. Now let's just dive right into the
Let's
mystery
talk
box.
So we want to do an episode today about J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Why do we want to do an episode about J.J.?
I heard that he's going to be directing the new Batman film.
Oh, nice.
No, he's going to be directing new Star Wars. Everyone knows this.
And producing.
That's right. And now, do we know if he has any kind of relationship with Lucasfilm following the first one? I know that there's a different director coming on. The guy who did Looper will be doing Rain Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
His name looks like Rain to me.
It looks like Rain.
He'll be directing the second and third of this new quote unquote trilogy.
Right.
Why are they even doing trilogies anymore? I wonder.
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
the
they
Ring
won't.
theory.
Maybe
The
they
Ring-
won't.
Maybe do you think they're still trying to follow the Ring theory?
Well, I don't know about that.
And we'll talk about that later.
They might be following the Hunger Games theory and make the third part of the trilogy a two-parter.
Ooh.
Which is like, I guess, the Harry Potter.
And like it's the third part of the trilogy is both the final of that trilogy and the first of the next, and it's 4 hours long, split into two, so it's 4 parts.
Nice.
So there's a quadrilogy at the end of every trilogy.
That's
that
why we
leads
don't
into-
do. I guess that's why we don't do 4 movies, because quadrilogy doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, it was always awkward when they tried to market Alien as a quadrilogy. That brief period. That was.
But they're going to start doing it, right? The Stand.
Yeah, apparently the
Stand is
Stand's
going to be a quadrilogy.
Yeah, and that's now is Ron Howard still involved in that? I know Josh Boone is going to be the director on those pictures.
I don't know. Is Ron Howard still alive?
Oh God, yes, very much live. Anyhow, but back to the point, Ron. We're talking about J.J. Abrams here.
Yes, J.J.
Now, J.J. Abrams has a long and storied career. Often thought of as a television guy, though, which is fair. But he did early on was got a lot of screenwriting credit. Correct.
Well, okay. It's funny that you say he's known as a television guy.
I mean, and that's how I first knew him in the heyday of Lost.
I don't know if I knew him before. Like, I knew of him.
Okay.
Before it was announced that he was going to be directing episode 7.
Right.
Right? I knew of him. I
course.
knew he was a big deal.
Yes.
Okay. But I didn't really know why, like, he was such a big deal.
Okay.
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 And I really didn't know, like, I didn't make a good distinction between what he has directed and what he's produced and what he's written.
I think that's a very common thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So, in my mind, like, he was the forerunner for directing Star Wars when they were looking for directors. Like, J.J. Abrams is high up on that list.
It was J.J. versus who's the Avengers guy? A.K.A. Buffy guy.
Joss Whedon.
You know, it was going to be Josh or J.J. or there was a couple other people that
Yeah,
were big
I mean,
forerunners. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, like, what I knew JJ for, like, around the time of the announcement of Star Wars, the Disney merge, the Disney acquisition.
Yeah.
Like, I think I knew him for 2 things.
Yes.
3 things. 3 things. Lost.
Yes.
Okay.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Right. The box.
Yeah.
No.
Lost.
Lost. Cloverfield. And Super 8.
Yes.
Okay.
And you.
And my thought on that is like, oh, he directed all of those. Okay.
Yeah, I was having to tell you up until like last week that like, no, he did not direct
He didn't direct
Cloverfield.
any of those, really.
No.
Right? Well, wait, he directed Super 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Super 8, I think, is the
And
one
the first episode of Lost.
he created Lost and
Well,
produced Lost, co-created Lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get into that when we
Yeah.
get to the Lost section,
Right.
Because
But
that's the one thing I took no notes for. It's all committed to memory.
Okay. But, like, he was known, in my mind, he was known for Lost, and then he did Cloverfield,
Yes.
which was a huge, like, major hype leading up to that movie because they didn't show the monster, and they showed New York, being torn apart, and it was, what is this?
Right.
What is Cloverfield? It's coming,
Yep.
But, like, there was a big kind of mysterious box
Yep.
promotion for it.
That's when I think we first really became aware of the J.J. Abrams, like the mainstream public, I think, became aware of the J.J. Abrams approach to marketing.
Right.
Which we'll see a backlash to that later on
Right.
in the sequel to Star Trek.
Right. And I guess, so I guess I did know that he did do Star Trek, too.
I would say the height of J.J., can do no wrongdom was around Star Trek. That seemed to be like when he really had ascended. Lost was still going.
Right.
And still at a fever pitch at that point.
Sure. I guess let me correct myself.
Mission Impossible 3 had happened.
I guess I became more aware of who J.J. Abrams was around the time of Lost, Cloverfield, Super 8.
I became, that's probably when he really came on my radar.
Yeah.
He was one of those names I kind of knew for a long time. Quentin Tarantino would mention him here and there, things, around Alias and stuff.
Okay.
But I wasn't super aware of him.
All right.
But with Lost, because there was not enough Lost information for me to gather, that's when I really became knowledgeable about who he was.
Right, because you were a big fan of Lost,
God,
so you were just eating up any tidbit you could get from that.
Anything. I followed the rabbit hole down all those creators. Yes.
Right. So who is this guy? Where the hell did he come from? Like, he seems to have he seems to be quite a power player in Hollywood.
Yes.
I mean, the nerve of him to be the first director outside of George Lucas to direct the Star Wars movie. I mean,
and
Irvin
famously
Kershner,
he turned it down, right?
Did he?
Because I remember when they were having trouble finding directors.
Yeah.
Remember,
nobody wanted to do it because
this
it's
is
such
when
a
you and I were
daunting
both
task.
still working together.
Yeah.
And we were following it every day. Remember? And it was like, now they're talking to so-and-so, now they're talking to so-and-so. Much like the Doctor Strange casting recently. It was like everybody that was available was named as a possible Star Wars director.
Right.
And JJ had, I believe, had reportedly turned it down. And he came
do
back around.
recall that. Yeah, I do recall that.
And that's speculation, folks, so don't quote us.
But, I mean, so this guy has built... This guy. Like, this schmo.
This guy.
This schmo.
Look at him.
Like, he's built quite a career for himself. And I really, like, looking back on his work, like, he has managed, like, he's avoiding me.
Yeah.
Like, he has managed to build a career out of pieces of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. You're really being very political here, Ron. I
really are not on my radar.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? That's insane, Ron.
Okay, well,
There's so much Amblin. There's so much...
Shall we start at the beginning of his career?
You know what? I
don't want to make this a list show.
I don't want to do a list show, but I think going chronologically makes sense just to kind of track how we were aware.
Let's not touch on, like, every little thing, but basically he started out as a screenwriter.
Because one thing I was shocked to find out, Ron, and I found this out a while ago, was that my life was touched by JJ early on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right. Tell us how when we get there.
Yes.
All right. Tell us how JJ touched you. Where on the doll did he touch you?
I'll point on my Greedo doll. Okay.
So he started out as a screenwriter.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? And a young screenwriter, like 21 years old.
He must have been young as hell.
Yeah. Right?
And according to Wikipedia, he comes from the East Coast.
Yes.
Goes out west.
Right.
His family's in the biz, the TV biz.
Yeah.
Producers.
His mom and his dad are both producers. So he's kind of born into the industry.
But he does not jump right into producing, which makes sense because you don't have money when you're 21. But he jumps in as a writer.
Yeah,
Starts
so he
off
writes
with some Jim Belushi film never heard of.
He writes the trilogy of greatness, I like to call it. Taking Care of Business, Regarding Henry, and Forever Young.
You know, I heard the derision in your voice, but what's funny is 2 out of those 3 films I actually think is really good. Mm-hmm. And I routinely, Forever Young is on a list of movies for me, Regarding Henry too, of that, they're not great. They're not, cinema classics or anything,
sure.
but, they're list movies much like, what was the one we always cite? Hero, with...
with Dustin Hoffman.
With Dustin Hoffman.
Andy Garcia.
Yeah. That level of film, where
sure.
it's
it's cable-friendly films.
Cable-friendly Sunday films. Matinee films.
Yeah. If it's on TV, you flip to it, you're going to get sucked in.
You should just sit and watch it. It's fun.
Right? Yeah. The problem, Okay. So let's just
Cable-friendly
dissect the
films,
three cable-friendly films really quickly. All
I'm
right?
not even taking care of business because it's
Taking Care of Business.
okay. Do you see this?
No, but it has Jim Belushi in it, and that is a big negative in my column right away.
If you're watching a Jim Belushi film, it really should be the principal.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, you need to rethink your life.
yeah. Well, there's that one with the dog too. I don't mind. There's a better dog cop movie, but this one will get you by in a pinch if you need
There's
a dog
also the
cop
one with
movie.
Schwarzenegger.
What's that?
There's also the
He did a Schwarzenegger film?
yeah.
Really?
Schwarzenegger is plays like the Russian immigrant cop. And,
Russian immigrant
and
kindergarten cop?
No, Jim Belushi. It's like Red something.
Red something.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
Red Cop.
Red Cop. That was a good one.
Red
I liked
Cop.
Red Cop.
I don't know. I swear that it's like tough New York cop is teamed up with Russian.
You're
cop.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't. Was that a Schwarzenegger film though?
Yeah, it totally is.
Huh.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I have seen the film, but I was probably drunk. So.
Stall for a while, and I will definitely find it for you. But
So nobody knows much about taking care of business. It looks horrible.
Charles Grodin can't help the film. I watched a clip, and it was Jim Belushi and Charles Grodin sitting in a baseball stadium, and Charles Grodin is a baseball scout, so he's kind of is on the game, but not really. He's kind of looking for something in particular, and all I have to say is, no amount of Charles Grodin will make up for the combination of Charles Grodin's bad rug and Jim Belushi's bad acting.
Nothing's freakier than being in 2014 and Googling Charles Grodin 2014.
Oh, no.
Because it turns out he's so fucking old. Because
Yeah,
I
right.
remember him from, I'm in grade school maybe, watching, what's that movie with the dog? Beethoven. And he's the dad in Beethoven. So I always think of him as kind of my dad's age.
Okay.
But he's like my grandpa's age. Or like
Yeah,
my
no,
grandpa's
he's old.
dad's age.
Red Heat. Red Heat is the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes. I do remember the film. Once again, did watch it drunk. Don't recall a lot of it.
Well, that's the only way to really watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would recommend doing the same for Taking Care of Business, despite not having seen it, but I probably will because I like Charles Grodin.
And if you're really desperate to watch a Jim Belushi movie, watch The Principal.
Yeah, yes, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
The principal rules. It's really good.
That is a good one.
Regarding Henry is also awesome.
Okay,
IMHO.
so let's not get to regarding Henry yet.
You're like, no.
Wait.
I think Taking Care of Business deserves more time.
Yeah, let's spend an hour, 15 minutes or so on taking care of it.
All right, okay.
No, let's just talk about Forever Young for a moment.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because,
1992. Best year of my life.
Yeah, it has. I don't remember it. I was drunk. It's quite possible I was. Probably now thinking back on the history of my life, yeah, I was probably drunk. So Mel Gibson as Captain America.
Yep, minus any superheroics.
Right. This is basically war hero frozen in time, woken up in the present day. What the hell is going on, and why is everything changed?
Rip Van Winkle story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was when Mel Gibson was charming.
Oh my God! Yes.
Super charming. Like,
if anyone out there is, are we in a time, Ron, where we might have listeners young enough to not remember a time when Mel Gibson was really charming?
oh, probably. Wow. Probably. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't remember, Google the trailer for this.
Yeah.
And that's why we loved him.
Right.
Well, this is the weapon.
So let's tie this back to JJ for 1 second.
Okay.
This was the time when a movie could star Mel Gibson.
And it was written by a Jewish man.
Wow.
What?
I didn't think about that. Yeah. But the movie
If you didn't get that joke, Google Mel Gibson Jew, and
Yeah.
you'll get it real quick.
No, but a movie didn't have to be great. As long as it starred Mel Gibson,
I missed this era.
it was box office gold.
It's weird to think back. It's strange that this era doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I complain about all the time. there's no superstar movies anymore.
There's nobody that can just turn out whatever.
Yeah.
A B-grade movie, but because they're in it, it is escalated to box office gold.
And the whole family goes to see it.
Yeah. And that's what Mel Gibson Power had. Like, he had a series of films in the 90s where as long as he was in it, everybody was going to go see it because it's Mel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
And it's family-friendly fun. It's weird to think that, like, this is a movie that ostensibly, like, kids of today could never watch, right? Kids today got to see, flashy things
Right.
going on, what
Right.
have you. I watched this as a very young child,
Sure.
with my family, and just, loved it, ate it up. There was stuff for the whole family.
You want to, kids, if you want to know, how charismatic actor Mel Gibson used to be,
Yeah.
watch the episode of The Simpsons where he is on it as himself.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite possibly my favorite Simpsons episode ever.
See, that's actually an episode that a lot of people point to as kind of a jumping the shark moment.
Oh, I don't care if it's a jumping the shark moment. I think it's awesome. It's Mel Gibson playing himself, making fun of himself, and Homer Simpson screwing up. It's like a slapstick comedy with Homer Simpson and Mel Gibson as himself.
God, talk about the passage of time. Did we mention this last episode, or
What?
The whole Three Stooges thing?
Oh no, we were talking about that. I think we were talking about that in line at
yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh God, what a good show that was! Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a whole thing it's something that he brings. It was in Lethal Weapon,
Yeah,
where he plays Riggs. We're getting so off topic here.
we are.
But he's a big Three Stooges fan. He brings that to a lot of roles.
Yes.
And I remember him. He was on Oprah 8 times. My mom was a big Oprah fan.
Oprah won't go near him now.
I mean, can you blame her?
Right.
Yeah. Anyhow, Mel Gibson, train wreck. But man, go back and see why we used to love him. Anyhow, Forever Young, great film. Looking at the whole filmography of J.J. Abrams, I've come to realize that I'm a big fan of, was it Jeffrey Abrams? Is that what he used to go under?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first few scripts are written as Jeffrey Abrams.
Wow.
Regarding Henry, Forever Young.
Well, that would make sense since JJ stands for Jeffrey Jacob. Now you know.
Thank you. I was wondering.
I didn't know that until I looked on Wikipedia.
You know what's funny is I've actually heard a lot about JJ, but I don't think anyone's ever said that before, Ron.
Jeffrey Jacob.
Well, now we all know.
From now on, we call him Jeffrey Jacob.
But so Jeffrey Jacobs' next enterprise. Actually, this is 1 year prior to Forever Young.
Yeah, we skipped ahead a little bit.
We skipped ahead because we wanted to save up the Star Wars connection of his Harrison Ford film.
That's right.
Yeah,
early on in his career, he wrote a screenplay that
his second screenplay.
Harrison Ford starred in.
Yeah,
regarding Henry, which is that title alone tells you how much time has changed.
Yeah, because it tells you
regarding
nothing.
Henry.
Yes,
that sounds like such a boring movie.
Oh God, yeah, and it also doesn't even tell you what anything is about it.
I don't think people even know what regarding means anymore.
This was of a time when, once again, talking about star power, Harrison Ford could sell a picture.
That's right. Yeah.
This was before the dark days of post 2000 when he was suddenly in these random films. Do you remember this?
6 Days and 7 Nights.
6 Days, 7 Nights probably was the beginning.
Yeah.
And there was, what was the one, he's in Hollywood Cops or something with...
oh, yeah, right. Yeah, with, who was he in that with?
Oh,
what's
his name?
It was Chatham Tanning before Chatham Tanning was
Channing Tatum. The guy who quit Hollywood. It's from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, Robin.
Nope.
Yeah.
Robin. No.
The guy who played Robin in Batman and Robin.
different man who quit Hollywood. It's it's the guy he was in
Sam Rockwell.
God, no, he did not quit Hollywood. No, it'll come to me later.
I know.
God, this is killing me. But anyhow,
Christopher McDonald.
Now
I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah, that's right. He was in that movie with Norm Macdonald. No, anyhow, I'll pick that up again later. But there was a point that we all know where his career kind of went in the doldrums, and he didn't sell things anymore.
Yeah.
This was the same era when Steven Spielberg made a film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, the Catch Me If You Can. The same time those movies came out.
Yes. So the power play.
His first name was Josh.
Which Josh? Josh McDonald.
Oh, God damn it, Ron. Oh, no, totally derailed.
Josh Hutchinson.
No, it'll come to me. Anyhow, so...
All right, so...
Regarding Henry, another kind of Rip Van Winkle story. It's about an asshole lawyer who gets shot in the head. He's mean to his family. He's not a nice guy.
Yeah.
Gets shot in the head and gets amnesia.
Funny that came out, well, like 1991. It very much is a 80s
Kind of is.
kind of trope of, greed is good.
Because he's even got the
Gordon Gekko slick back hair.
like slick back hair.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to.
Yeah.
All I could think of was Malcolm McDowell.
Is that who retired from Hollywood?
I know. I'm trying to. God, it's killing me.
We could look it up, but
No, I know it's not worth it. No, it's all the theme of the episode.
Michael McDonald.
No.
Oh, damn it.
That should be the theme of this episode. The running scared theme. Anyhow, it's a great film.
It's a great film,
very
and this was
heartwarming.
the first.
Annette Bening, one of the last films where she's really hot.
That's right.
And what the thing is, he comes back and he's kind of childlike, and he starts seeing the world all different, and everyone falls back in love with him. He's a great guy. Ultimately, he finds out, spoilers, his wife wasn't faithful. He wasn't faithful. Everything was bad, and he's like, let's all get a fresh start, and everyone lives happily ever after.
That's right. Let's move to an island and make our own.
With Anne Hesh.
I was thinking Mosquito Coast.
Oh. And it's very saccharine sweet.
It is very
It's
saccharine.
very-
Both of these movies,
Yes.
regarding Henry and Forever.
Regarding Henry with Elijah Wood. Did we
They
cover
are
that?
very saccharine sweet. Mm-hmm. Right?
They are very much the coded from the DNA of the Amblin world, of the Spielbergian high concept meets family fun.
All right. So.
I don't agree. All right, moving on.
No, I kind of agree with that, but I wanted to move forward.
You got a bigger point.
Well, from there,
Bunch of movies we've never seen.
he kind of becomes more of a producer.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah.
While still writing, he starts to produce things. He produces the pallbearer with
After a mysterious 3-year gap.
Well,
So there's 6 degrees of separation as an actor.
He had to get a bar mitzvah.
Sure. Yeah.
But he produces the pallbearer with Ross from Friends. What's his name? David Schwimmer.
Yeah. Who I really wish would be in True Detective.
And I've
season 2.
heard, I feel like I've seen that movie. I heard that it gets a bad rap, that it's better than it is.
Is that like an independent film?
Maybe.
I feel like I might have seen it on IFC.
Maybe.
Years
Might
ago.
be an IFC.
Back when I used to stare at IFC.
Right.
Diabolic.
Yeah, he shows up as an actor in a couple films, also kind of independent films.
Yeah, and then writes Gone Fishing.
Fishing, great film.
I skipped that one. I tried to watch it, actually, because that was in the era of Grumpy Old Men.
See, Gone Fishing to me feels like a Seth Green vehicle, but it's not. It's a Joe Pesci vehicle.
Yeah, Joe Pesci and Danny Glover. Big.
Yeah, see, that would have been bigger if it was Seth Green.
I feel like it was a Grumpy Old Men kind of competitor somehow. And then we get the one that should really be the theme song of the episode, right. Armageddon. Yeah.
Nice.
And he's just a co-writer.
Co-writer.
I feel like this might be the moment where he realized, hey, I don't have to write the whole script. I can just kind of give the big idea. Someone else can handle the heavy lifting.
That is true, because
which is a very George Lucas idea.
Yeah, this is kind of a turning point for him, because at this point he does become kind of like more of an idea guy.
Idea guy, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's really good, actually. That's a really good encapsulation of what he does.
Yeah. So he...
I'm sure if he's listening to this, he's like, fuck you.
He's listening. So he goes on to produce and write Joyride.
Oh, God.
A horror film that I was tricked into go seeing.
This is one of maybe a handful of horror films that you've seen. I remember when we were G-chatting, I was like, oh my God, Ron, he did Joyride. I love Joyride.
Yeah.
And I expecting like every other horror film I tell you about to get no response.
No response whatsoever. Yeah. Nope. I saw it.
Oh yeah, it's
Was it
what's his name? Lily Speski.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird face girl and
weird face girl.
Steve
she looks
Zahn.
like Steve Zahn was in it. That's probably why I was tricked into seeing it. I love
Steve Zahn's great. He's the and also the late
Paul
great
Weller.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Paul Walker.
Right.
But
yeah.
I love that movie. It's you know what's funny about that movie though, Ron?
Right.
That is kind of like more of a slasher take on the Steven Spielberg film Duel.
True.
You know, which is the pre-Jaws Steven Spielberg film. Great movie, great film.
Right.
And it's pretty much a direct copy, only with more horror tropes.
Yeah, I was fine with the movie until
Rusty
someone
nail.
gets their jaw pulled off or something. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
They don't show, but they do show the person.
They show enough, yeah.
Yeah,
they show enough.
Yeah. Great movie though. I really, if you,
it was actually a decent.
It's totally disposable.
Yeah.
Like it's whatever, but like it was from that era. Because this is like still in the era of Scream. Like we're in the era of like Scream 2, 3, that area.
Yeah.
Pre-Ring, I believe. So J-horror hadn't come in yet.
Right.
It was good.
Also, pre 9/11. It came out in 2001, but I believe it came out in early 2001. So 9/11.
Interesting.
Happened. Yeah. So this
and now
is
I'm like dialing it back. I'm like, who did I see that with?
Turning point. Yeah.
I have no memory of who I saw it with. Great film though.
First, I probably traumatized because I saw it because I know exactly who I saw it with and where I saw it.
It's weird then that like, okay, so that's 2001. Mm-hmm. 2001, his career really takes a leap because if you're looking at just his filmography, he doesn't do anything again until 2006. But what you're going to be missing is Felicity.
We're really going through his movies and we're not touching on the TV. The TV really starts with Felicity, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's the big one.
Because I was going to say, just looking at his movies here, goes from Joyride in 2001 to Mission Impossible 3 in 2006. So it has a big 5-year gap, which is taken by Felicity.
That's right. It starts off with Felicity. Now, Joyride, he was both writer and producer on.
Yep.
Famously, you can make a lot of money if you're a producer on a horror film.
Sure.
But maybe not in this era.
I was going to say, nothing to this point leads me to believe he's a power player.
Right.
Although
he's touching a lot of powerful people.
He's touching, he touched you.
I know. Regarding Henry. I'll never forget.
But
Ritz Crackers.
If we just look at his career from, 1990 to 2001, and he continued on that trajectory.
Oh yeah.
He would not be a big power player.
No, right? He's just some.
He is just kind of like the go-to guy for low rent movies.
It's interesting though, and this is now we're getting to a place of real speculation.
Yeah.
Because think of this, Ron. Television.
Television's his big. That's his big move.
Yeah. Oh
right?
God. Yeah.
That's his big.
No,
that's where he becomes.
It's interesting though because if you think 2001. That's kind of where television starts to grow a beard.
Sure.
I'm watching... Well, this is almost embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. I'm almost done rewatching Gilmore Girls with my wife.
Okay, so I was going to say that this is the era of, Gilmore Girls, Melrose.
Melrose is kind of over by now.
Right, but these are, we're kind of...
We're transitioning.
We're transitioning from the era... This was
we're in the Ally McBeal era.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
we're in the era of marathoning a TV show on DVD has not started yet.
Not at all.
But
it's still weird.
These are these shows that we're going to be talking about, like Ally McBeal, Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Melrose, not really, but it's kind of Melrose.
I like that you're shoehorning it in because I love Melrose.
Right. But this is the era when people are all of a sudden getting kind of obsessed about TV shows.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ally McBeal was a huge deal. Started the baby meme, the dancing baby meme.
The first,
right?
Totally.
Gilmore Girls was huge with the...
That's the first meme I remember.
Style, the writing style of the Gilmore Girls, very back
punchy.
And forth,
very
punchy,
Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think maybe I'm biased, but I think Kevin Smith had a lot to do with part of this whole thing. Like the whole culture started to shift and focus in on itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like this was an era where it was cool to know a lot about films and movies, and like it started that culture started to feed off itself.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because watching Gilmore Girls, good God, it's reference after reference after reference.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right. So
very punchy dialogue.
So he goes and does Felicity.
So what I was trying to say though was, so while initially you could interpret this list as being like J.J. Abrams keeps greeting like mediocring success.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you could see it as
he's building,
and he gets Joyride under where he's got a producer credit on it.
Yep.
And he's raking in some dough with that, right?
Sure.
And so then he's got a few shekels in his pocket, and he goes, his dad's like, TV, and he's like, I've been thinking about TV my whole life. We could be doing this different, and he becomes a shaper of television.
Right.
Because after this, Felicity is going to be a pretty big hit for what network was that on? Damn, if I can remember. It was one of those
Couldn't tell you. This was where the life of Ron starts to tune out of what's going on. Because
where are you at this point, Ron? 2001.
Okay, so this is 2001. Mm-hmm. I'm already working. I'm out of school for 5-6 years already.
School being college, or
college,
school being
yeah.
Okay.
I'm working. For some reason, I'm not really. I think this was the era of Ron watching, getting knowledgeable on old films. So I was watching French New Wave.
Right.
I was watching
a wonderful time in
American classics.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a lot of
highbrow.
The Netflix crowd. Yeah,
you got no time for reality TV. Used to be big at this
Netflix.
time.
I was devouring movies on Netflix left and right.
It was easy to not watch TV at this time because it was like reality TV is getting big. It was easy to be like,
right.
Especially
so I turned off. I've never seen an episode of Ally McBeal. Mm-hmm. Gilmore Girls I did watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But never watched. Never watched Felicity. Never watched Melrose. Never watched these shows. Right.
Sure.
But Felicity was big, and I remember Felicity being big because of
Carrie
Russell's hair.
Yeah.
Right? That was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Wow, curly,
cool, Ron.
curly.
Yeah.
She had curly hair, and that was like a big deal.
It became a thing for a while.
It became a thing.
That's right. Those tight curls.
Tight. Yeah, she had tight curly.
Yeah, those
long
tight
hair.
curls. Yeah. God, that's good, Ron. Yeah. I didn't watch a lot of it. I remember watching some of it. It's about a girl moves to the city.
Yeah, okay.
Girl in the city thing.
Like in college, I have no. I
don't remember a lot of it. And that's a show that I'll probably rewatch eventually.
Okay,
but
probably a show I'll never watch.
I'll probably watch.
But that's a theme.
It's only a matter of
that really is a theme for JJ moving forward.
Yeah.
For me,
yeah,
it's like he is. This is the start of him creating entertainment that I have kind of not a lot of interest in.
Oh, okay.
I'm aware of, but not interested.
Understood.
Okay, because he starts with Felicity, a girl moving to the big city.
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in that.
Yeah, you're in your 20s.
That's
you don't
right.
give a damn.
That's
yeah.
right. I'm drinking beer. I'm crushing beer cans on my head.
Nah.
I don't care about this stuff.
Coincidentally, I'm 17, also crushing beer cans on my head.
Or watching girl.
Watching Felicity. No, but so Felicity, the biggest thing that stands out for me, though, is that one of the supporting characters on that is the Pink Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Nice.
Mary Jo.
Nice.
So anyhow, after that, though, he does some other things, produces some things. That's a hit.
That's a hit. Yes, Felicity was a hit.
Yeah.
And then I ran for 4 years.
Yeah, and he's got some other stuff in between this, but then the next big blip is Alias.
Alias, yeah. Another show.
Now, Alias is a show I watched not at all. You know why?
Because you and I have the same hatred for Jennifer Gardner.
Well, honestly, here's one thing. This is a weird our confessions of our love of girl things. I love 13 Going on 30. Great film. Hulk plus Batman's girlfriend. But Jennifer Garner dated Ben Affleck, right?
They're married.
Oh, well, there you go. Batman's wife.
That's right.
Anyhow, But I didn't watch that because it was at the time it was kind of positioned as an Alias versus Dark Angel camp. James Cameron's Dark Angel with Jessica Alba.
All right.
And I was firmly the Dark Angel plant because I'm a Fox kid from way back. So
there's another show I want to bring up that as a podcast we would be remiss if we never brought it up.
Okay.
And I think for me, I connected these two shows.
Oh, the Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo. Yeah, we're gonna cover it, Ron.
We're gonna cover it. Yes. No. No, we would be remiss if we never touched on this show. The X-Files.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right.
Fantastic.
The X-Files. For some reason,
Did JJ do something on there?
No, but I always connected Alias to being kind of a knockoff of the X-Files.
Because of the type.
Because of the type,
it's
right?
Of
the
type.
font.
Yeah,
nice.
totally.
It's the same font. Good call. Yeah.
And that
Good
opening,
call.
yeah, totally.
But I felt like both of those shows. Well, I can speak to X-Files because I did watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm not super X-Files fan, but I did watch enough of it to actually warrant going to see the movie.
Sure.
Right.
But was it enough to see the second one?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's where I fall too.
I draw the line there, right? But did watch a lot of Californication.
Oh, yes.
David Duchovny.
Of course.
Yeah.
A lot of respect there.
Yeah, and a lot of dirty stuff on there. But like, I feel like this was an era, and I connect these two shows, Alias and I'm going to even throw 24 in here.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, 24,
right?
certainly.
Going to throw these shows in here.
Yeah.
That
24 comes about a little later.
A little later, right?
That's like 2003.
But I'm connecting Alias, X-Files, and 24.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely popular shows with, and this is my bias on here. This may be, people can disagree with me, but my opinion of these shows, not great production value. Lesser than production values for their immense popularity. You would think that they would have thrown in a couple more bucks on these shows.
Well, I think
to escalate them to where the viewership was.
Outside of the very,
I always thought that the X-Files intro was very low rent.
the X-Files intro might be a little low rent, but effective.
Effective,
and
yeah.
I would say I think their production value was pretty high, except it was if you ever made the connection they were filming in Canada, you could never unsee it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
Much
I made
like
that connection early on.
Indiana, much like Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's like
right.
You start looking at things. It's like everyone's named Debocqua and French Canadian
I think
names.
I connected that maybe subconsciously, but I connected it. Whereas like, okay, it was like television was getting to a level where it was like, oh my god, like.
Now you're spanning a lot of years, though.
I am,
because
throwing 24 into that, yes.
And X-Files goes from like 94 onward to 2000 something, and 24 doesn't start till like 2003.
Okay, well, I'm spanning at least a 5 or 6 year gap.
10 years.
Well, 10 years, but I think what I'm getting at is like there was
Alias felt too cheap for you.
There was a period in television where it's like, well. We're getting the viewership.
Right.
We're getting the rabid fans.
Yeah.
Right?
The writing is getting there.
And the writing is getting there, but not everything else is getting there.
We don't quite have the money.
We're not to the level where, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Sopranos level.
No.
HBO hasn't come in and been like...
HBO comes in around...
98 is Sopranos.
Is that when that started? Man, because I was watching that.
But early on, Sopranos still feels very TV show. It doesn't feel like, production value wise, it doesn't feel like a movie.
I was lucky enough that we had HBO in my household, so I watched Soprano. I watched all those first gen HBO shows as they came out.
Sure.
God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Even Oz.
Yeah. Oh man, I won't.
A lot of rape on that show.
Yeah, I can't watch that show.
It's okay because it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
The show literally falls apart.
Yeah.
Great performances in the first couple seasons.
Right.
Anyhow.
Anyway.
I like how we're just always taking tangents on this stuff.
We are, I don't even know where we're at with JJ.
JJ is now on Alias. So here's the problem with Alias is that I didn't watch any of it. Did you?
I watched about, I watched literally 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, not for me.
I watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode and was like, oh, cool, got the concept, neat.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. I think...
I tried. I did. I was like, I need to get up to speed on this. This is obviously a maker for JJ.
I'm holding the envelope up to my head right now, and I'm predicting that I will be watching at least a season of Alias before Star Wars comes out.
Oh, I will. I
will.
This is where I'm starting to form
Quentin
my
Tarantino
opinion.
directed at least 2 episodes, correct?
Doesn't matter to me. I don't know. Doesn't matter to me.
Wow.
I'm this is where I'm starting to
hate women.
Hate women with red hair.
Well, that's a
that
wig,
was a wig.
Ron. I mean, that's her identity.
Right.
That's the alias.
But I in researching this episode of SW Dog, this is where I'm starting to realize that JJ's form of entertainment,
Not yours.
not mine,
Interesting.
doesn't really fit with my sensibilities.
No.
And the fact of the matter is that he roped me into shows like Lost.
Yes.
And what else has he done?
MI3, Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. Super 8. The fact that he roped me into those, is a true testament to his power, because those are I am not a Mission Impossible 3 fan, or I'm not a Mission Impossible fan in general.
Yes.
I am not a Star Trek fan.
Yes.
I am not a Lost to me fell apart after the first season.
Wrong.
I know, blasphemous.
I mean, now you're starting to encroach on our friendship here, Ron. I thought you were like me. I thought you were a Lost guy who was wounded, hurt, betrayed.
Lost is something that I'm glad I experienced, but I will never go back to, and I think that's most fans' opinion.
Yeah,
except for yours.
I wish I could stop, Ron. I hate myself.
Well,
I hate Lost.
I mean, Lost had a strong beginning.
And amazing.
And if it really, it was groundbreaking television.
No, before we get into Lost, let's just cap off Alias.
Okay.
We didn't watch a lot of it.
Nope.
I plan to watch more. You're not gonna. You don't like it. Big woman hater.
No. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And this is something that people should know about me moving forward with this podcast. I am not hates women, Jews, blacks, and dentists. Seinfeld reference.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am not I'm not a big action for action's sake movie fan.
Not at all.
Right?
That's true about you.
I am not like
you do like dumb things.
I like dumb things.
You like a dumb action movie from time to time, but not action movie.
Yeah, I don't there's. I mean, I grew up in the era of Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
But you're not a
so I've seen those,
guy.
But I don't ever need to see a Schwarzenegger or Stallone guy.
Meanwhile,
movie ever
I am a Stallone Schwarzenegger guy.
Yeah. So
and you also don't like horror films.
I don't. Yeah, horror films I don't like at all. But I don't.
I love them.
I don't.
The Odd Couple.
I need to have a spin on it. Okay. Yes. Alias to me is it's a spy show.
Yeah.
Right. 24 to me is it's a spy show. Right? Or
well,
double
there's a spin
agent
on
show.
both of those though. 24 happens in 24 hours.
That's not a
Every
big enough
episode's
spin.
an hour.
That's not enough.
You never see him go to the bathroom. It's great.
He's not gone to the bathroom in 7 seasons.
No, he never does. It's awesome. They never show him go. It's great. That'd
be great if there was just one show where he's just trying to have a BM.
I think they've made a joke about it, but I didn't follow it past the first season. I love Kiefer though. He's great.
I don't know. That just doesn't really suit my sensibilities.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like, a show like Alias doesn't really do anything for me. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, I literally watched 5 minutes of it, and I was like, okay.
You can kind of predict where it's going.
Yeah, like, I don't really... There was no real big twist for me.
Thing is, I remember people back in the day, like, and we're living right in the middle of Middle America, and I remember a lot of people loving this show.
Oh, yeah, no.
It was a big hit.
I'm not, like, disparaging anybody that likes it. I'm just saying for me, like, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and I'll know, like, within, 5 or 10 minutes of watching something, whether it's for me or not. And at this point, I'm starting to realize, as I'm doing my JJ research, that a lot of the stuff that he's done prior to Star Trek, right, is not for me.
Star Trek seems to be when he got his real high gloss on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, moving right along.
Yeah. And I will say Lost had its... As much as Lost had its low moments, Lost had its extreme high moments as well. And I was on board for the full ride, watched the end live on TV with everyone else. So,
yeah.
Like...
And
Lost had a nice twist for me. Like, it kept me guessing throughout. There was time travel, there was the island, there was polar bears. Like, it was never just straight up action for me. There was always something a little bit more edgy about it.
Well, and I think this is what JJ brings to television, honestly.
Okay.
Is he kind of brings that mantra that it's all about the characters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, Felicity is successful because it's all about the characters,
Sure.
Anyhow... Lost.
Same with Alias, right? I mean, Alias was like, that was big.
I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on Lost. Well, I'll come back to Alias periodically throughout the year, but Lost, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'll just go into a hate spiral.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on Lost.
Oh, God, I love it so much, and it hurts me so much. You can actually Google online and find a website I made.
About Lost?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was obsessed with the character of Sawyer. And the comparisons between him and Wolverine. And I actually, at the art school I went to, I made a website that challenged people to design a tattoo for me that combined the two characters into one character.
Right.
And
now you have that tattoo across your entire back.
Yes. It's all been blacked out. But anyhow, that'll come into play again later because I'm a big fan of Sawyer. So Josh Holloway, that comes into play. So
JJ's role in Lost was he co-created it?
No, that's the credit. Now he is a producer, and his big thing here is that he's co-creator supposedly with Jeffrey Lieber and Damon Lindelof. Don't know what Jeffrey Lieber did, but Damon Lindelof claims in behind-the-scenes interviews I've watched that. Basically, this was supposed to be like Survivor. Survivor was very big in this time.
Oh, right.
Survivor was crazy big.
Yeah, sure.
And so they were going to make a dramatic kind of nighttime soap about a Survivor-esque situation where people get lost on an island. And Dan Lindelof writes a treatment for it. It looks good. Takes it into JJ. They're like, it's not quite working. Take it into this guy. He's kind of going to script doctor it a little bit. Takes it into JJ. JJ is like, it's really good. I really dig it. It's, all these characters are awesome. But what if there was a hatch? And I'm like, what do you mean a hatch? He's like, I don't know. What if there's a door somewhere?
Like there's a magic box?
Yeah, exactly. What if there's something mystery?
Right. Magic box meaning there's something that has something inside of it, and we don't know what it is. I think Roger Ebert kind of referred to that as a MacGuffin, kind of a thing that doesn't really matter what that thing is, but it is a thing, and the characters are motivated to get into that thing, acquire that thing, capture that thing.
Yeah,
it's whatever it is.
It's inconsequential to the plot.
Yeah.
It's like
doesn't matter what it is.
The lighter in Strangers on a Train is a MacGuffin.
Sure.
It doesn't matter that's a lighter. The lighter is not that intrinsic to anything. It just that helps move the plot along.
Right. I think the famous one, famous MacGuffin is in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yes,
the briefcase.
Yes,
that Samuel Jackson and John Travolta are acquiring from the kids.
Yes,
they open the briefcase up. As they open it, you never see what's in the briefcase, but there's some kind of shiny thing, glowing light that shines on John Travolta's face, and Samuel Jackson asks John Travolta if he's happy, and John Travolta.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we happy.
We happy.
We happy. And that is like probably one of the biggest MacGuffins or mystery boxes in cinema, because you never know what is
it's
in
been
that.
Speculated that it's diamonds. It's been speculated that it's Marcel Wallace's soul.
Yeah, you never know what it is, and it doesn't matter to the movie. It's just motivation for the characters in the film.
So anyhow, it seems to me like he directed the first episode.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, that's not truly what a magic box is in JJ's terms, right?
Well,
JJ is more.
I don't know if JJ had these terms figured out yet.
Right, but JJ's magic box is more of like the big twist, the more of like leading up to something and then going somewhere else. I don't know. Now I'm thinking of it's M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know.
I don't care.
No.
So Lost. He does the first episode. Directs the first episode.
Yes, which is probably one of the best pilot classic TV
Here's the thing about Lost.
episodes ever.
I don't know if I can recommend anyone to watch it, but I will tell them this. You'll never see anything like it again. There'll never be another show where they say, a network show, mind you. This was a network show that on season 4 they go, we're going to give you 3 more seasons.
Yeah.
Wrap up your story.
Right.
That'll never happen again, Ron.
No,
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, right.
Anyhow.
But it was, and
cultural
I will say
phenomenon,
this, kind of tying back to what we were talking about before. It is probably one of the early shows that I marathoned, because I did not. I was like,
I caught up with season 4.
I stayed away from season 1.
Yeah.
And because my entire family was like raving mad about this show. Like every family get together, everyone was just like, oh my God, lost this, lost that.
Those first couple seasons, there was so much bad fucking TV that it was just hard.
Right, there was so much bad TV.
I just wrote it off.
I
wrote
it
garbage.
off. I'm like, well, my family, like, they don't have the same taste as I do. You know, I was just coming off of watching French New Wave.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
yes.
This is,
yes.
I don't want to watch this lowbrow shit. Right?
Yeah, network television.
Yeah, network television.
If you were hip, you knew that network television was dead, even back in
something I never recovered from. I've never recovered from going back. Giving up network television. I don't watch that.
Yeah, after Lost was done, I was like, well, that was it.
Yeah.
We're never going to watch network television again.
Yeah. So I marathoned the first season, bought a season pass on iTunes for second or third season, then fell out of love with it, everyone. And I like.
You fell out early.
I fell out early, but then came back to it and fell in love with it again.
See, I was watching on ABC.com.
I think I did that too. I think I did that too. I know I season passed it on iTunes for a couple seasons, because I could download a couple seasons of it anytime, because that's how iTunes works.
Anyhow,
but
we're getting bogged down.
Yeah, right.
So Lost, great show.
But this is where JJ is now becoming power player. He has parlayed screenwriter, mediocre screenwriter at best. Right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, he's
a little by the numbers. Little by the numbers.
Yes.
Sure.
Right? He's parlaying that into TV producer to TV creator, right? Show creator.
Yeah.
To
hitmaker.
To now parlaying that into movies.
Yeah.
Back into movies.
Well,
okay.
He credits this all with Tom Cruise.
Well, Tom Cruise, I credit my life to Tom Cruise.
As do I.
That's right. Yeah. All hail Tom Cruise.
All hail Tom Cruise and the Great Volcano and.
And what is the Xenon? What's the Scientology thing?
Battlefield Earth.
That's right.
And John Travolta. Back to Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, I don't. I don't hail John Travolta, but I do. Tom Cruise is literally he's defying age.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're going to point to one good reason to be a Scientologist, I mean, he's
Tom Cruise.
It. Yeah,
he is the poster boy.
And people might say he's crazy, but it's like, well, you want to be crazy or dead?
Yeah,
I'd rather
crazy like a Scientologist.
Yeah. So anyhow, he plucks him mostly, I think, for Alias, for his third venture into the Mission Impossible franchise, Mission Impossible 3.
Okay, so Tom Cruise, although he is godlike.
Oh, God,
he is also sitting there and watching Alias on TV, like the rest of us, or the rest of the culture at the time. I mean, let's just humanize him a little bit. He say he's
I
marathoning Alias.
I don't think that's true, Ron. I think he has assistants, and they watch TV before him.
Really? You don't think he watched Alias?
I have no idea, Ron.
Well, okay. Well, wait a minute.
I don't like to assign humanistic characteristics to Tom Cruise. I respect Tom Cruise.
That should be like the tagline for this next movie. Don't attribute humanistic characteristics to this man.
No. I attribute humanistic characteristics to this character, Ethan Hunt. But
well, okay.
one of the few non-Jack characters.
But let's look at Tom Cruise for a second.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Because Tom Cruise has built his career out of being action hero, being
that's not true.
Beyond
that's not true.
Well,
he forced his way into action.
True.
By personally financing and making Mission Impossible.
All right. Well, what I'm getting at is like Tom Cruise is basically. Let's go back like 10, 15, 20 years, okay? Tom Cruise is by the very definition, a movie star, not an actor. Okay?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, and I would say that, going back to like classic film star, where it's like, you go to see a Cary Grant picture, you want to see Cary Grant not be method and like play absorb into a character.
Right.
You want to see Cary Grant be Cary Grant doing his thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. You go to see a Tom Cruise movie because he's Tom Cruise.
He's Tom Cruise.
But
you can't escape it anymore.
But what he's also doing is very smart on Tom Cruise's part. He is picking. He's not just picking like good film roles. He's picking good directors to work with.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He's picking Stanley Kubrick. He's picking. Who directed Interview with a Vampire?
Oh, God damn it, Ron. I can't pull who that is.
Magnolia.
Yes. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
I can name other ones, but they're slipping me
John
right
Woo.
John Woo.
Who's the person who directs the first Mission Impossible? It's not Michael Mann. It's
no, it's well, he does end up working with Michael Mann.
Oh yes, in Collateral.
Right? In Collateral.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a movie star who is picking roles by director.
He's nothing if not smart. When
right.
it comes to that
Smart.
kind of stuff. Yes.
Like crazy, like a Scientologist. Like smart. Like he is now aligning himself with artistic directors as opposed to just going for the big budget. Payday.
Well,
but
John
he's getting
Woo.
that as well. But still, John Woo at the time was known for he wasn't known for an American cinema. He was doing.
I think Face Off had come out by then and stuff. But yeah, it was that. I think that really signaled the decline in John Woo in American cinema.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a completely different subject.
John Woo comes back to those Red Cliffs.
But what I'm saying is, Tom Cruise at this point has worked with Stanley Kubrick. He's worked with all these big name directors, and are shaping his career into being much more than just action hero.
Well, I remember reading, and this is so. I mean, I can talk about Tom Cruise all day, but I remember reading in Esquire years ago. Remember he did War of the Worlds with Steven Spielberg?
Oh right, yeah, I knew he did a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
I kept thinking it was AI. I'm like, he wasn't.
No. He did War of the Worlds though.
Right.
Playing character named Jack. And I remember the Esquire article was all about why has Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg never made a movie together before?
Yeah. Right.
And the whole concept was that because they never had to. Because they were both strong enough on their own previous to that time to not need to work together.
Right.
But at that and that coincides with what we talked about earlier with the period where suddenly Harrison Ford can't carry a picture anymore.
Yeah,
and
right.
As opposed to back in the mid early '90s when you have a big name and boom, that's it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But the thing is, well, it's not about Tom Cruise. But what I'm really was trying to what it's really trying to get at is Tom Cruise has now gone from working with this very elite directors.
Oh yeah.
To J.J. Abrams.
That's right. This goes from the point where
he kind of puts J.J. Abrams now in the same
higher
level with a Stanley Kubrick, which is
that's exactly right.
By no means true.
Sure,
but it's putting him at a different level,
higher echelon. Totally, you're absolutely
right. It's
Ron.
escalating him beyond his experience.
Well, maybe. I mean, I feel like he earned the right to make Mission Impossible 3. But
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yes, I think you're
And Mission Impossible 3 is not like, 2001.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, hell, neither was the movie Tom Cruise did with
Star Wars.
Yeah. But so he does Mission Impossible 3. Now, you didn't care for this movie.
Mission Impossible 3. Okay, so my problem with Mission Impossible 3 is I watched them out of order, and I watched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol first, and I fell in love with that movie.
Okay, I am 4.
Head over heels in love with that one. And I'm not a big Mission Impossible fan.
Do you happen to be a Brad Bird fan?
I am a Brad Bird fan. I like Brad Bird.
Yeah, me too.
Although I don't like the person of Brad Bird. I think he's a little bit pompous, but I love his movies.
Sure.
All right?
Many great directors. Pompous, yes.
Yeah. But I watched Ghost Protocol first, and then went back and watched Mission Impossible 3, and it left me a little flat.
Yeah.
Because I loved Ghost Protocol so much, but J.J. Abrams produced Ghost Protocol.
That's right.
So
yep, and
he directs Mission Impossible 3, which is at this point his first movie that he directs.
Yeah.
His directorial debut of a movie.
Yeah.
Is Mission Impossible 3.
That's absolutely right. And
which is crazy.
It is crazy, but all the hallmarks are there. Specifically the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about MacGuffin. It's
a
textbook MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's a textbook.
They're after, I can't remember what they're after. They're after some kind of serum, something.
They're after it's some
you never
type of
really
capsule.
know
It's
what's
called,
in the capsule, right?
Oh, I just watched it and I forgot what it's called.
Doesn't matter.
It's called something.
They're after something. You watch them plan and plan and plan. And I thought this was genius in the theater. I talked to all my friends about it. I saw the movie twice, I think, in the theater.
Wow.
I really dug it. Also a fan of Tom Cruise with the short hair. The long hair is good. But the short hair is good
I'm a fan of the long hair Tom Cruise.
But he, so you see all this time of them planning out the whole thing, what they're going to do and how it's going to work. And then basically you see Tom Cruise go in, right?
Yep.
There's an altercation with a janitor or something. Then they cut down to 2 people talking in a car. And then just after a little conversation reaches a certain point, you hear Tom Cruise on the radio be like, look up, look up, look up, look up. And he blows out the window and jumps out, right?
Okay.
You don't ever actually see him actually.
You don't actually see him doing the plan.
Yes, and I just thought it was so brilliant because you really can't compete with the first Mission Impossible heist sequence.
Sure.
It's with you remember the one?
Yeah, right.
Remember the theaters used to have the diorama of it with
right.
a mannequin.
The white room.
Yes,
he comes down. He's floating.
Oh, perfect. Anyhow, so did that. It's also got the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman as the bad guy.
That's right. Right.
And I thought he delivered a great performance.
See, I was watching it. My wife was half paying attention to it, and honestly, I was half paying attention to it too. It wasn't grabbing me like Ghost Protocol did. Even though I like
Ghost Protocol's garbage. It's garbage.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Even though I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, my wife. She turns to me halfway through the movie and she's like, he is not intimidating at all as a bad guy.
Oh, see, I disagree.
Because he was and I agree that, I agree with you to disagree with that.
Yes.
I don't necessarily, this is so weird, I don't necessarily agree with you.
Yes.
I agree kind of with my wife.
Yes.
That he does not make an intimidating bad guy.
Right.
And I admit that her opinion and mine are in the minority in this because he was probably a very strong part of this movie.
Totally.
But maybe it's because I watched him and he's already dead. Maybe because I've seen him.
You're hey, what dead guy's going to threaten me?
Not I don't know. It was just kind of I don't know. The fact that maybe it was refreshing when it came out that he was, you have this kind of pudgy white guy as a very intimidating guy.
Honestly,
but I watched it and I was like, yeah, you're a pudgy fat guy that,
I mean, he wasn't intimidating per se. It was just more...
it was an intellectual intimidation.
It was good. The thing is, honestly, Ron, I think what I benefited from was seeing it in the theater. I think watching it at home, you're on your iPad, kind of half paying attention,
And I think what hurt me is I watched Schenectady, New York.
Yeah.
And if anything is intimidating, watching that movie is. All right, so now we get to the point where he's going to make Cloverfield. And this is a confusing time for me with JJ.
Okay.
Because Cloverfield, to me, is got J.J. Abrams written all over it from the get-go. Right? It's a J.J. joint.
It's marketed as such.
Right?
Yeah.
It is marketed as a J.J. Abrams film. But he only produced it. He did not direct it. He did not write it.
That's right.
Right? Matt Reeves directed it. Who's Matt Reeves?
Matt Reeves will go on to direct the American remake of Let the Right One In, which is supposedly a very good remake. I haven't actually seen it, but I've seen clips from it.
Oh, well, maybe Matt Reeves will go on to make Star Wars.
I believe he's done another movie, too. I can't remember, but he's...
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
There it is.
There you
yeah,
go.
That's a
All
pretty
right.
big
Wow,
one.
there you go.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So, yeah, he's
fine.
very talented.
Right, but Cloverfield was not known for a Matt Reeves film.
No.
It had JJ written all over.
And the marketing was so JJ. I remember it was such a big deal because there was a brief glimpse of the Dharma Initiative logo.
Yep.
And there was that. Believe it or not, this will timestamp it. This is exactly when I got into Lost.
Okay.
Because around this time I caught this whole Dharma Initiative thing, and I was like, oh my god, the Lost Island is Monster Island. Mm-hmm. You know, like where Godzilla's from. Monster Island.
Sure.
They're going to connect it all.
It was all supposed to connect, right? And it doesn't.
Does not.
It does not connect at all.
It has nothing to do with anything.
No.
Stupid.
Well, okay.
Stupid.
Here's the thing.
Stupid.
I got to, at this, well, you can hate yourself all you want. I got to say, I kind of loved Cloverfield.
Oh, I love Cloverfield.
I thought it had it was an acceptable level of horror for me. Mm-hmm. It was an acceptable level of action for me.
Yep.
With a twist. Mm-hmm. The fact that you never really see the alien.
You do.
The fact that
they pay it off.
You do at the end,
yeah.
but like throughout the entire movie, you don't really see it. And you see the little things, the little aliens.
It's a really cool design. And this came out right around the time of The Mist also.
Yeah.
Back-to-back alien features. Both aren't alien, but back-to-back creature features.
Right.
And they're both great. Both.
Right.
And both of them I feel stronger than the new Godzilla.
Oh, sure.
Which is directed by a guy who's going to do Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Well.
So, yeah.
But I'll say this: if
Yes.
if we didn't get JJ to be announced as a director of Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and if we weren't talking about JJ tonight,
Yes.
I would say this: Cloverfield. If you ask me, yeah, JJ directed it, wrote it. Like, it just feels so much JJ. Because of the way it was marketed? No, he's just a producer on it, right?
They did this great thing,
He's
too.
just a
Remember when they
producer.
marketed it where you see the Statue of Liberty head and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And then it
That's
just
the
gives you
poster.
a date.
Yeah.
We didn't know a name for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was like everyone thought it was going to be a new Godzilla movie.
Right. Everybody thought, like, all these crazy things.
Yeah.
That it wasn't going to be a name, that the date was the name.
That's right.
You
I
know,
remember that.
It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Right? It was the magic box at play.
This was actually kind of a great time. This next 3 years or so, a great time for movie marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after this, The Dark Knight has the Why So Serious campaign where they had
This is where things started to go viral.
viral
Marketing campaigns for movies.
There was that brief period where you thought you could make anything viral.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Make it
this was also, like, I feel like this was the start of, like, my really kind of being interested in what JJ was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cloverfield piqued my interest because it was so mysterious as it was being, virally marketed.
Right. Certainly.
And this leads us into...
Also, Lost has a lot of this. Don't forget.
Lost has this too.
We've got the webisodes. We've got the little games you had to play and things you had to figure out.
Yeah,
remember?
you had Lost, Cloverfield,
God, that was such a big part of what made Lost great.
right into Star Trek.
I don't remember the Star Trek marketing.
Well, there was
except for the
like
teaser.
I don't remember if there was any kind of really viral. Maybe there was some viral stuff for Star Trek.
I feel like it went pretty much. I mean, there might have been some stuff, but it didn't catch fire like the others.
No, right.
It was pretty straightforward.
It was I think it was ballsy that they were pulling it off. It was ballsy that they were recasting Kirk.
That was the ballsiest thing.
And Spock.
Everyone was.
Bones.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
ballsy.
As a long-time Star Trek fan, it sounded impossible.
Right. And as a short-time Star Trek fan, I was like, okay, yeah, let's see what you got. I'm on board.
I mean, they're so synonymous.
Yeah.
At this point, I was checking it out pretty much because of the goodwill that had been built up with Lost and other various Cloverfield and what have you.
Yeah.
I was like in the JJ camp, so
sure.
I was like, I'll check it out.
This was like the big getting on into his camp period.
Mm-hmm.
Lost was in its run.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say in its height, but it was like it had peaks and valleys. Cloverfield was it was a hit. I think stuff was bubbling. It wasn't necessarily taking off. I mean, Lost was a huge hit, but Cloverfield I think was a little bit I loved it, but I think in general it was maybe a little bit of a letdown because of the mysteriousness to it. Didn't pay off.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it's interesting though what you're saying, because I really think JJ kind of traces that path of how media in general changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like his career starts in a time when a big movie star can sell a movie,
right?
And everyone goes to see it,
right?
And by the time we get to Lost and stuff, we're getting to this point where that's happening less and less, and things are becoming more and more niche,
right? To the point where I don't know who the stars of Cloverfield were. I can't name a person that was in Cloverfield.
I feel like I should be able to.
I feel like we both should be able to, but they didn't. Yeah. That wasn't the big draw.
No, not at all. The stars weren't ancillary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they've all gone on to do other things, but
certainly.
Honestly, I can't tell you who was in, because one of the main characters in Cloverfield was the cameraman.
Right.
Because it's,
Well, he's actually the most memorable character, too. He's got all the great lines.
Yeah. So, and then rolling into Star Trek, oh my God, they're taking this property and rebooting it, or
with all new people.
With new people, how dare they? Star Trek fans were, up in arms about this.
TV people too. Zachary Quinto from Heroes.
Yeah, right.
He was the biggest star, probably.
Right. So yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably because Chris Pine. Nobody knew who Chris Pine was.
No, he'd only been in a handful of things.
And what's her name?
Zoe
Saldana.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who she was yet.
Oh, the big name was your boy,
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Yeah, Simon Pegg. Yeah.
He was kind of the ringer.
Get to him for a second. Yeah, a little bit. But so what did you think of Star Trek?
Here's the deal. This is where my pattern with JJ will start, and that's I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's a good palate cleanser. If you ever seen, now what's funny about this is the Star Trek film before this, the main antagonist was played by Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy of Dark Knight Rises, Bane. Tom Hardy, the darling.
I had no idea.
Star Trek Nemesis.
Horrible
film.
Horrible
film. They had really gotten up their own ass and really lost everything about what Star Trek was about. JJ came onto this saying, hey, I'm not a Star Trek fan, I'm a Star Wars guy. And he pointed out that also the guy who directed Wrath of Khan was not a Star Trek guy either, and that's supposedly the best film.
Okay. All right. I'll go with you on
that. A lot
of
debate on all this.
All right.
Debate. I could debate all this.
I'm not a Star Trek fan at all.
Basically, I watched it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Eric Bana was a weird bad guy. I do like some of the themes of the imagery, like the Romulan ship and stuff was just so gross designed, it was super complex and green and black.
Sure.
It kind of looked how some of the TNG stuff got towards the end, like Star Trek Nemesis and stuff. And then there's all this pure, clean, Apple-looking designy stuff of the Enterprise that was, and it was oh, this is nice. They're clearing it away. It was a good refresher.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then as I got further away from the film, I started having all these critiques of it. That seems very un-Spock.
Sure.
Some of the shit that was going down.
Right.
And I started to look at it closer and closer and be it really feels like in an earlier draft of this script, maybe Captain Kirk was supposed to be there with Spock, because it seemed like a very Kirk action to be oh, hey, don't worry, I'll take care of this whole big problem for you, Pilgrim. Just give me all the red fluid.
Right.
And it was just like, that's not how that character acted. And it just rang very, as time went on, it started like to ring less and less true.
Sure.
I have nothing but praise for the performances. I mean, Chris Pine does a great, it comes under criticism for being such a, like, over the top, craning his neck at every girl that walks by type thing.
Right.
But he does a really good job by the end where he just does that, walks on the bridge and bones, And I was like, wow, now you're playing Captain Kirk.
Right.
And it had a range for everybody. Like, if you wanted to see someone do a dead-on impersonation, you had the guy who was doing the DeForest Kelley impersonation with Bones,
Yes.
or you had like more of an interpretation with Chris Pine and everything in between. Overall, thought it was a very fun movie. Overall, disposable. This is one place where me and Red Letter Media kind of agree.
Sure.
It's easy to just say that, hey, it could have been. What's different between this and the what did they compare it to? The Lost in Space movie.
Okay. All right. I will say this about Star Trek.
Yes.
I think quite possibly the only Star Trek movie I've seen at theater. Okay. It actually drew me in as a non-Star Trek fan enough to be like, yeah, I think I want to go see this.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
To this day, I probably only watched it once. I have absolutely no problem with it because Star Trek is not my thing. Okay?
Sure.
So it's very... I get the homages. I get the, Chris Pine doing his thing, doing the Shatner thing. I get, Carl Urban doing the Bones thing. I get that. I get it, but I'm not invested in the universe. So I don't like.
But that's the thing is like
fun.
That's what JJ did is he made it so you didn't have to be invested in the universe. It wasn't a big deal, and and that was the thing. It does cheapen the experience. That Red Letter Media review, I can't tell people to go to it enough because he does this great thing where he goes, so what's going to be in the next one? And he predicts accurately. He's like, based solely on what people know about Star Trek, we're going to see Klingons.
Right.
We're going to see Tribbles.
Sure.
We're probably going to see Khan.
Right.
Right.
And that's the thing is, like, based on my knowledge of Star Trek, we saw those in the sequel, Into Darkness.
Yeah.
Right? And, again, I'm not attached to this universe. So I was like, this is great. I'm seeing all these things that I know.
It's like it's kind of like the Glee Greatest Hits cover album.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have literally no attachment. I probably have not seen Wrath of Khan.
Sure.
Okay? That's just me. I'm not a Star Trek fan. Don't hate on me. I'm the Star Wars guy. This is a Star Wars podcast. That's why I'm doing it. If I was a Star Trek guy, I would probably be doing a Star Trek podcast.
Maybe I should be doing a Star Trek podcast.
Maybe. Get out. But, like, I don't have a connection to the universe, so for me, both of those movies were fine. Okay, I get how they're kind of the glossy versions of that universe. I get that. I get why maybe the hardcore Star Trek fans may not be as appreciative of those movies as I am. I get it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my father-in-law is straight up like didn't even finish the film. It was just like, this isn't.
And I get that. I was totally fine with both of those movies. Okay?
Sure. Yeah. Overall, I was too. It was like, whatever.
Until they announced that he's going to be making Star Wars.
Now, when he announced Star Wars, I was like, that makes more sense. He's more suited to that.
But if he does that, if he tells Star Wars the way he tells Star Trek, I have major problems with that.
No, I mean,
like, is it gonna like? I feel like we're going to get that though. We're going to get like, oh, Star Wars is Millennium Falcon. I'm giving you the Millennium Falcon. Star Wars is Darth Vader. I'm giving you Darth Vader. Star Wars is Ewoks. Well, I may not give you that, but the second one I will, because Ewoks are the Tribbles of Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a Gungan. Well, okay, before we get too far,
I didn't want to get too far, but I did want to make that point.
I know it's supposed to be a list episode, but let's just close out the chronology and then we can give our final analysis.
Let's close out with the movie that I think got him the job.
Super 8.
Super 8.
Yep.
Super 8 is basically...
This is what we're all working towards. He's been doing nothing but pastiches until this point.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek, all takeoffs of old television franchise films.
Yeah.
So it's like a takeoff of a takeoff of a takeoff, right? Mm-hmm. This is his chance. He's built up enough of cachet to make a film that he writes, directs, produces. This is his baby, Ron. It's going to be his voice. We're finally going to hear what JJ has to say.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
What he has to say? I'm Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. This is... They actually bring back the Amblin production.
Well, yeah.
Like the production...
Spielberg produced this.
But like they bring back... Like Amblin... The Amblin logo has been used like that for years. Right?
Right.
But they actually bring that back at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's how much we're going back in time.
Yeah. This was basically preying upon our nostalgia.
Now, now going back to the mythology of J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
He is supposedly much like a Steven Spielberg. He made films as a kid in high school, grade school, whatever.
All
right.
I mean, I assume he
Super
did.
8 cameras.
I assume that. I assume that he did because he grew up with producer parents. He grew up in California.
He's one of those stories.
He's been groomed as this guy. He's been groomed as a Spielbergian George Lucas guy, right?
Yes.
Even though his career up until this point has not really been, he's not following the same path as George Lucas, right?
What do you mean? He didn't do a super original take on something?
Well, he's not. I mean, Lucas didn't do TV. Lucas didn't. I mean, it's a different time, but like Lucas, jumped right into films, whereas JJ kind of had to build towards it.
Sure.
Spielberg, he did The Duel. He did Sugarland Express, and then jumps into Jaws, and that the rest is history.
Right.
But JJ really, he had to build it.
Yeah.
Right? He had to build it. And he built it with movies like Taking Care of Business.
Yeah. He builds it in a very Hollywood way of, meeting, greeting, shaking hands, glad handing, making, making friends,
I'll
allies.
say this, in a way, not earned it.
In a way, earned it more.
In a way, he's paid his dues, but he didn't, it's not like he made a Jaws and then got to do, E.T.
It's not like he was a raw ore of natural talent.
Right.
That was suddenly mined and whoa, and blew it up.
Yeah.
Like a Spielberg or Lucas.
Yeah. I mean,
to be fair, though.
He's created many great things on TV.
And to be fair, if you go back to our 70s episode, you can see that the climate was different then.
Yeah.
In 2000, there wasn't necessarily that.
Yeah, you can't make a direct comparison because it's a different world.
Yeah, there was no opening for a new wave of people to come in.
Right.
So maybe you have to glad hand a little. Maybe you have to work your way up.
I'm just saying that, looking at his career.
Yes.
I'm not seeing anything that is an indelible classic.
No.
Right? I'm not seeing anything that's oh my God, 20 years from now I'm going to sit down and watch it and love it as I love Raiders of the Lost Ark today.
Right.
I don't see anything that's just
Now talk about now, before we jump off the Super 8, before we get into the full criticism.
Yeah.
Talk about a movie that doesn't pay off with the monster.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. That was another mystery box that
Super mystery box,
right? Because we see the trailer and the train crashes, and there is there's something inside one of the cars that's kind of denting from the inside out the walls of the car.
It's shoot it. It's production value. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was even rumors that this was a sequel to E.T.
Oh, yeah. That's right. There were all kinds of rumors. Yeah.
There was a lot of speculation going on that this was this is very Spielbergian in tone. Maybe this is,
a lot of those Spielberg shots of characters staring off in wonder.
Oh, yeah. The cast alone was a group of kids that was very much E.T. inspired.
Yeah.
They're all making a film like Spielberg did in his youth.
Yeah,
I mean, and that being said, I think the acting in this movie like elevates it.
Once again, great
All
performances.
Of the performances are spot on.
Great performances. Great, pretty good characters.
Child cast, like it may be very established tropes, but they're all very well done.
Yeah.
The two father figures in this movie.
Yeah.
The drunk and the very strict father.
The duality of the two.
Right.
Yes.
He had a very duality. They were both great. They both, Coach Taylor from, Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights brings it.
Oh yeah,
excellent acting.
And
right?
going back to Lost, I think he's great at beginnings and he's great at setups.
Yeah,
he's great at setting it all up.
Sure.
But then what does he do when he gets to a sequel? Say Star Trek II, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Sure.
How does he go about
that's where
following
the Magic
himself
Box,
up?
That's where the controversy, the Magic Box, they caught him.
The Magic Box blew up in his face.
They caught him in a lie because everyone was saying that that the
what was the character's name? John something.
John Harrison.
John Harrison. Good call. Yes.
Right. I forgot the actor's name now.
Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Oh, is that why he's such a big deal?
Cumberbatch.
I don't know.
That's his big deal because of Sherlock.
Oh, he's Sherlock?
Yeah.
I don't know this stuff.
I never watched Sherlock.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole time is they're like, no, he's not Khan. And then the movie comes out and he's like, I am Khan. I'm like, well, you see, you lied to us.
Yeah,
JJ, you lied.
Yeah.
You lied to us and that's not cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, well, if you set up a mystery and people figure it out, then...
Yeah. So that was probably a
lot of hate.
A black mark on his...
Big time.
On his, Also, the...
a lot of people love that movie, though. Great. A lot of people... There's a lot of the 9/11, post 9/11 conspiracy stuff going on,
Right. Also, the lens flares.
Mm-hmm.
The lens flares.
You kind of got to love how unapologetic he is about it, though.
Well, here's the thing
like that.
He's
also a big shoot-on-film guy.
Well...
It's weird, though. It's like, what's the point when it's all digital?
Yeah. Honestly, Christopher Nolan leaves a bad taste in my mouth about film right now because he's such a pain in the ass about it. But that's a whole nother subject.
Well, that's another bonding thing between Quentin Tarantino, J.J. Abrams, and Christopher Nolan.
Quentin Tarantino's kind of a pain in the ass about it, too. But whatever.
But he earned it.
Yeah, he did earn it. Yeah. But he's still a pain in the ass about it. But this whole lens flare thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Star Trek... The first Star Trek that JJ makes, lens flares up the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like crazy lens flares. Right? And me coming into this whole, JJ world, kind of, knowing about him, then, really researching it for this episode and knowing more about him and going back to, his early days and that, what else had lens flares in it that JJ did? It wasn't a thing.
Lost. Title sequence.
Was there...
Title sequence, right?
I don't remember.
When the Lost tilts.
That's it? Right, but there wasn't lens flares
no?
throughout the entire show, right?
No, I don't know.
All of a sudden I felt like he got labeled as the lens flare guy because he did it a lot.
Well, that's because
in one movie.
I mean, that's dumb internet commentary.
It is kind of
Dumb internet looks at the movie and goes, there's a lot of this thing in that. That's the thing.
Yeah, he's going to do it in everything else. Yeah, he's going to do it in everything else now. Yeah. Right?
What else?
Right?
Silly.
So everyone was, there was a little bit of worry from the dumb internet, voice.
Mm-hmm.
Just counting it as one big voice. That Star Wars was going to have lens flares.
Or although they're going to be lens flare sapers.
Yeah.
Meme the hashtag ComeSeeMyMovie.com Part 2.
So I'm just where did this come from? He did it in one movie and on Lost.
It's an aesthetic choice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's done other things that didn't have I was looking when I watched Mission Impossible 3 because
where are lens flares?
No lens.
He loves lens flares.
There's no lens flares in that. Not at all.
Yeah, it's silly.
It is silly. So don't listen to the internet, people. Stay away from it. It's bad for your health.
Yeah, don't listen to podcasts. So Star Trek Into Darkness happens. That's only 2013, Ron. 2015. That's 2 years. Star Wars Episode 7 is going to come out.
Yeah.
With JJ on board.
Yes.
JJ
Directing,
Supposedly-
producing, writing.
Writing.
The big three.
Co-writing. Supposedly not going to be valid for a Star Wars director because he did Star Trek, right?
Oh, yeah,
Isn't
this
that-
was a big deal.
Isn't that
This was a
funny
big
that
deal.
now we're like,
This is a big
oh
deal.
yeah, it makes total sense he's doing it. But just a few years ago, it was
Yeah, right.
insane.
No, you can't mix
to
the
say
two.
you can mix the
can't
two.
mix the two.
But he brought Star Trek close enough to Star Wars. Star Wars is now close enough to Star Trek. It's okay.
Well, you keep saying that.
It's the truth.
We'll see.
It's
We
the
will
truth.
see in a matter of days. I'll see in a matter of days. You'll be off in, a
Rylander,
town,
Wisconsin.
Yeah, where they don't have movie theaters that are showing the trailer.
Riding a hodag.
We'll see.
Rylander,
I will
Wisconsin.
see how I'll get a glimpse, an 88-second glimpse of what JJ's take is of Star Wars.
Ron, really, you should go there, and you should have the biggest film rig you can rent, and you should just try and film it and get kicked out during the 80th second. And as they drag you away with your film rig, you should be yelling, www.delusionsofgranular.com! That's granular, not grandeur! That's probably the best way for us to get some notice.
Wait, where are you going to be?
I'm going to be in Rylander, Wisconsin.
Now I'm wondering if you'll see it before me.
Why?
Like, it'll leak on the internet
Oh.
as I'm waiting in line.
I mean, I'm sure as we record this right now on Monday that it'll probably we can probably Google it right now and see.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't
No,
think so.
you're right.
I think they got this thing locked down pretty tight.
So
let's just talk about really quickly the modern day JJ.
Modern day JJ.
Yeah, because he's been obviously he's tied up in Star Wars right now,
Yes.
right? But he's also gone on to create like a ton of TV shows.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Many of which have failed.
Yeah, like
No, I don't know why I had to say it like such a dick. Many of which have failed.
you're
but
a failure, JJ.
he's like, yeah, where's your TV
Yeah,
show
right.
movie?
So
asshole?
he's created Fringe,
Yeah.
another sci-fi, and this one does truly feel like a X-Files ripoff to me.
I tried to dive into it when it first came out. I watched the first couple episodes. Really wanted to like it because of Pacey. I guess it got really good.
Yeah, it's supposed to get really good. And
I just don't have time for it.
50 episodes in.
Yeah, I don't have time for it. I'll get there someday, maybe. I'll watch Alias and Felicity before that.
Person of Interest.
Person of Interest I've seen.
That's going on.
That's with Benjamin Linus,
Yeah.
the character from Lost. Not the character, but the actor.
Right.
And the guy who played Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Also from Frequency.
Nice.
Which is also being made into a TV show without Jim Caviezel. If you caught that recently.
He executive produced Revolution, Almost Human,
Yeah.
with Carl Urban.
Right? I
Right.
didn't see that.
Nope, neither did I. It's canceled already.
Did he do Alcatraz?
He
Or
did
I make that up?
Alcatraz, yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
the entire season of Alcatraz.
Nice.
Sam Neill.
So here's a couple things to point out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is Jacob,
Yes.
JJ,
Mm-hmm.
as we like to call him.
Yes.
Man of many talents.
That's right.
He produces, he directs, he writes, he composes.
Yes.
He's a man of music.
Not unlike one John Carpenter.
Yeah. So
I
he's composed a lot of music themes for these shows, including Lost.
Can you hum that one for me? Yeah, well, I mean, the John Carpenter comparison wasn't totally facetious. I mean, that's very much a keyboard synth thing. That's his jam, as we hear in the SNL bit.
Oh yeah, we saw JJ cameo on a SNL bit with Andy Samberg.
Yeah, rocking the keyboards.
Yeah,
I mean,
seems to have a little bit of a sense of humor. I mean, he seems to be.
I think he's got a big sense of humor.
Yeah, he seems to be, kind of down to earth for his, body of work.
Here's the thing. I think. Okay. Now this is going way on a limb. I don't know anything about the man.
Yes.
But looking at his credits.
Yes.
Looking at his persona, he puts himself out there.
Yeah.
Because he does have a big sense of humor about the whole lens flare thing. He made a whole video about it. He's funny. He doesn't care.
And he's been, very tongue-in-cheek about what the hints that he's been given about, Star Wars.
Yep.
Writing his little notes on his note cards.
He doesn't remind me of a driven defensive artistic director.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a lot
like Christopher Nolan.
Like Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
a George Lucas,
Yeah.
what have you, who might not have as much sense of humor about themselves and takes what they do very seriously and is kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He strikes me as what I've seen from a lot of the great producers of the past, who are very likable, affable, joking. They know it's a business. They're making it work.
Sure.
And I said this to you before the podcast started, before the mics rolled, and you kind of disagreed. But I felt like if I was going to, at a certain time, before JJ existed, if JJ never existed, I feel like we would probably have to create him. Because I think if I was going to write down, what do you want most from a director?
Okay.
It's like Spielbergian sense of awe, love of genre and sci-fi.
Sure.
Love of classic television of the 70s. A real... why not throw in the ability to do his own synth scores like John Carpenter? That's so cool, you know?
Sure.
Someone's really in touch with all these things. And on paper, he is all these things.
Sure.
But in reality, I don't get the effect that I get from any one of those composite pieces.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I do have a couple final thoughts, but I do want to touch on one other thing before we get to final thoughts.
Okay.
JJ's use of reoccurring actors.
Oh, that's right. Specifically his portly friend.
His portly friend, what's his name? Glenn Gruber?
Greg Gutenberg.
Greg Gutenberg.
I made that up, Ron. I'm sorry.
Glenn Greg Gruber.
Gigi.
Gigi.
Calls him Gigi. JJ and Gigi.
We had that pulled up for us. We don't
did.
have that pulled up anymore?
No, I don't know
we
what
lost
happened,
it.
Ron. I'm really sorry.
So, he was in
wait.
Lost. He was in, Hidden. All right. Well,
Sorry, Ron.
He
I failed you again.
Greg Gruber.
Yes. We'll call him Greg Gruber
All right.
for now.
He has used
Josh Hartnett, by the way, from earlier in the episode. It was Josh Hartnett and Harrison Ford.
There you go.
Who starred in a
Way
film
to
together
tie
called
it back.
Hollywood Cops or some bullshit. And it's dumb and
Hollywood
no one
Cops.
saw
I
it.
think it was called Hollywood Cops were bullshit.
Josh Hartnett, who famously claims to have quit Hollywood in favor of independent.
I had no idea. I thought he was the guy who played
It's funny.
Robin.
Sometimes you don't get work, and
Chris.
we all quit.
What's the guy who played Robin?
Oh, that is Chris O'Donnell.
What's the guy from Stand By Me?
Fred Savage?
Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, Stand By Me.
I'm
Yes.
like
It's Jerry O'Donnell. Yeah. O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell.
Sliders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Uh,
but JJ's friend is...
okay, so while you're looking up JJ's friend, we know that JJ uses actors. And
it actually is Greg Grunberg. So we're
Greg
actually pretty
Grunberg.
close.
Greg Grunberg is like his good luck charm.
Yes.
He's been in pretty much everything that JJ's done.
And things he hasn't done.
And things he hasn't done.
Heroes. Do you
he
remember
did do Heroes.
how big Heroes was, Ron?
It was big.
No.
For that first
Ron.
season. That first season.
It was massive.
That was a nerve.
Dude, they were
It was
everywhere.
big. Yeah,
it was
big.
bigger than
It was
Lost. It was
It
insane. And that was a show that was crippled by the writer's strike. Do you remember that?
Well, here's
The writer's strike happened, and then it just all fell to
the
shit.
thing with that show was, it was like Lost for me. Like everyone was just like so like hyping it.
Oh yeah.
I stayed away from it for the whole first season. Right. Marathoned the first season.
Yep.
In like a weekend, all ready for season 2.
Yeah, this is really this is the era when like marathoning really becomes a thing,
right?
Yeah.
Marathon season 1 in like a weekend, ready for season 2. Season 2 starts. I'm like, this is shit.
Oh yeah.
This is shit.
It was shit.
This is awful.
Because the writers weren't there.
Yeah,
they
this
were
is
like
awful.
literally having to like, we have 6 scripts, let's make it work.
Yeah, this was awful.
Yeah, that was an amazing loss of everything.
Right. Also ties back to Gilmore Girls, which we were talking about, because what's his name?
I don't know the Gilmore Girls connection on that one.
Yeah, the boyfriend.
Luke?
No, the young Rory's boyfriend.
Which one? Dean?
The other one. The bad one.
Oh, the bad one. You're right.
Yeah.
Good call, Ron. Wow, I'll have to tell my wife to listen to this episode. She'll get a kick out of that.
I'll tell my wife not to.
Jess. That's his
Jess.
name.
Yes.
Wow. Look at us full of working knowledge of Gilmore Girls. Won't get that on me, Star Wars podcast.
It's the only Star Wars podcast where we mention Luke and it's not Skywalker.
So we should close out the episode.
We should. But no, wait.
Yes.
So Carrie Russell, Felicity, appears in Mission Impossible 3.
Yep. I don't remember her, but I believe you.
Brief part.
Okay. She Ethan Hunt's wife?
No. She Ethan Hunt goes on a mission early on to rescue her.
Ah.
Right.
Very good.
Very good. Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Shows up in Mission Impossible 3, Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yep. That's Scotty.
Possibly in Star Wars.
Possibly.
He's been hanging out on the set.
Simon Pegg, famous for his space rant.
Yeah, for hating on the prequels.
Yep. He's the one who famously said Star Trek is only good in the even number ones.
Yes, right.
Yep. Only good in the even number ones, and just hate on the prequels.
He hates on the prequels, and could possibly be in Episode 7.
Yep.
So, Simon Pegg, if you're listening, fuck you.
Ron feels much stronger about this than I do. I'm a little more...
Simon
Pegg has given me enough joy that I can even out and be like,
Here's the thing. Simon Pegg gave me a lot of joy in Shaun of the Dead, and then his big mouth about hating on Star Wars has ruined all the other enjoyment he's given me.
Hot Fuzz I really like still, and I loved At the World's End. So
I liked half of that movie. The other half I did not care for.
I like both. But there we go again.
All right. So anyway, JJ kind of like a lot of directors, power players, and tends to use the reoccurring cast members.
Yes.
I see. Maybe we've speculated on this before.
Yes.
Maybe Tom Cruise will show up in Star Wars.
I can only pray.
Oh, it'd be great.
I think it's time.
Yeah,
I think it's age appropriate now to play some kind of Imperial officer.
That's right. It'd be great.
Yes, and maybe this will be the one he reveals his gray hair.
Oh, that'd be great.
He ages himself
he has no
for
gray
this
hair.
one.
He has no gray.
He has no hair. It's it's all the eyebrows, the hair. It's all wig.
That is John Travolta.
They're both.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So anyway, I think that's everything I have on JJ. Final thoughts?
Let's do the final thoughts, Ron.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Oh, well, I would say this.
Okay.
Just talking about JJ for the last almost 2 hours.
Yeah. It was a big episode.
Kind of, I think we did our due diligence on him.
You feel like it's been therapeutic?
Yeah. I feel like it's changed my opinion. I've gone into this episode and be like, yeah, JJ hasn't really created anything that I gravitate towards.
Right.
And I'm very cautious about how he's going to perform on Star Wars.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But looking back on everything we've talked about for the last 2 hours, I would say this.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is he's definitely a man of talent. He can create many things. He's gotten many large projects off the ground.
Right.
And I will sum it up with this.
Okay.
Who wouldn't I be cautious of taking over Star Wars?
Certainly, Ron.
Right?
Certainly.
Who wouldn't I?
Right.
So, of course, I'm going to be cautious of this man taking over something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. But who wouldn't I?
Right.
So, he's not taking over the trilogy. He's only on for one movie.
He's kicking it off. It's got to be a wide release.
Right?
It's got to really please the fans.
We think that he's good at starting things off.
Yep, that's right. That's right. He's good at beginnings.
He's good at beginnings,
and
he's good at kind of that nostalgia factor.
Oh yeah.
Now,
I mean, so my big concern going into this was that a lot of the things that he does, I end up kind of walking away from being like, I enjoy it in the moment, and then looking back on it and be like, what was the threat there? What was the point of that?
Right.
At the end of Star Trek, I was like, how did that work?
Sure.
Anytime I trace his plots or anything, I'm like, does that make any sense? But then you can counter that by looking back at Raiders of the Lost Ark. You take Indiana Jones out of that film, everything happens the same.
Yeah,
the outcome's
the
same.
That's true. That's true.
So to be fair, is that, but the biggest thing that bothered me about JJ going into this episode was that he kind of feels like an algorithm. He kind of feels like he's taken the film industry and figured out the math equation to be like X plus Y, like as evidenced by that Red Letter Media thing.
Yeah.
And it's also coincidentally kind of funny that Red Letter Media became so famous, partially because it got tweeted out by Damon Lindelof from Lost, who later gets like hoisted on his own petard by Red Letter Media, and is now like kind of a toxic quantity.
Well, yeah.
But so here's the thing. Maybe he is very calculated in that way. Maybe he is an algorithm.
Maybe.
All right?
Maybe.
The question is, Ron, can the algorithm learn? Can it learn to the point where I will watch Star Wars and walk away without the kind of sickly feeling afterwards that was like, oh.
Well, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick from Star Wars, but
right.
I hope so. I think he's savvy enough to know that Star Wars is a different thing from anything he's done in the past.
Certainly.
I think that, it's a different tone, it's a different style.
Probably it's a little closer to his heart, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, he said that he's a Star Wars fan,
right.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell shortly. Viewing the trailer, I think will give us some hints. Hopefully, 88 seconds of hints.
Yeah, it's like if I see 88 seconds of this film, that pretty much should tell me if he did a job or not.
Well, I mean, one of the things that leaked on the internet was this 2 seconds of the Falcon coming at the screen,
right?
A GIF, and to me, I need more than that.
Yeah.
I don't need a Falcon, a CGI Falcon coming at me, shooting guns blazing.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not giving it to me.
Yeah.
It needs to be something else, and they've already said that it probably is something else. But I don't know.
In JJ, it's like 1 second later it blows up or something. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
I don't know. So.
But you know what? I think this was good because I do, like you said earlier, I know you were trying to kind of hit the button on it. I came into this with kind of a negative feeling towards JJ.
Yeah.
I'm walking out with kind of more of an open mind.
I feel a little bit open.
It does feel like there's been a progression. The career's going somewhere. And
yeah, it was good for us to explore his career and just be like, oh, well, this is what he does.
And I'm somehow, like you said, I do feel better about the idea that he wasn't like, I want to do all three. He's
right.
Like, one and done.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that was good. I think I feel good. We hit all the marks.
I think so.
Let's round it out here with a couple more things.
Okay.
Just let's take this up to a nice firm 2 hours.
All right.
First off, Jurassic World. Any interest?
Sure. I like Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I don't.
That's my thing. It's like
I'm not married to that franchise.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want to it.
Exactly.
And I'm fine with it.
You just make the dinosaurs look good.
Yeah, make the dinosaurs. Give me some, fun quips from the actors.
Yep.
They'll make anyone. I think there was some talk on the internet if they make what's her name, Bryce Howard.
Sure.
If they make her the bitch, that would be in poor taste. Like, make her fun too. Like, don't have like a bitchy character. Like, let's just have fun with it because it's fucking dinosaurs. We don't need like someone naysaying things.
Right.
Just like have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm staying with you. I
Yeah.
don't really care.
Right.
I just kind of put it out there because it seems like going into this episode, I kind of thought that a Jurassic Park sequel would actually be more up JJ's alley than a Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
going back to Forever Young, he would have been great as a Marvel director. It's too bad he's way too out of their price range.
I gotta say, I'll be curious to see what JJ does after Star Wars. I really will.
Me too.
I really will.
So hats off to you, JJ. Now, on to new business. Star Wars spin-off news. Supposedly it's Dirty Dozen, Ocean's 11, Seven Samurai.
Right.
Any kind of movie with a number of ensemble cast.
Yes.
That's going to be the new one.
Yeah.
So
Bounty Hunters.
The Rebellion hires bounty hunters, supposedly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Rings false.
It's too early. Yeah, Rings false. Too early to talk about. Don't care.
Yeah, don't care.
Okay. And on to final news. You caught up with the final episode of Rebels.
I did.
We're almost ready for our Rebels roundup.
I did catch up with Rebels, yes.
How'd you feel about that last second half of the first two-parter ever, Gathering Forces?
I enjoyed it much more than I thought it would.
It's so ironic. We've been going back and forth this entire season.
Yeah.
You're happy with it. I'm down on it. I'm happy with it. You're down on it. Now you're back happy with it.
I'm
back down
happy
on
with it. Yeah, I was happy with it.
Huh.
I liked the
lack of payoff.
well, there was a lack of payoff. There was I won't say I didn't have problems with the episode.
Okay.
But I did like I liked Ezra and Kanan in it. I like Kanan getting a little bit freaked out by Ezra's use of the Force, going a little dark,
Right.
possibly.
Well, we've seen where that can go. Do you think
Uh,
Kanan saw his classmates get slaughtered by Darth Vader?
I don't know.
I wonder if they go in that. I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope so.
I liked the kind of false reveal. Like Kanan is, having a lightsaber fight with the Inquisitor, loses his lightsaber.
Yes.
Ezra picks it up. Oh, we're going to see Ezra battle the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Right? Immediately gets knocked out of his hands.
Right.
Taken away from him. Right? I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
You didn't go there.
Still had to deal with the Inquisitor's ridiculous
Inquisitor's-
toy lightsaber.
Yeah, the Inquisitor is kind of a problem. Don't know how he fits into this universe. Is he a Sith? Is he not? Is he? I don't
No,
know. Is he Darth Vader's Padawan?
Yeah, we'll do a full roundup someday.
Does he call him Snips?
Yeah,
If he calls him Snips, that would redeem the entire series.
See, what's the?
Snips, I mean Inquisitor.
I mean,
I mean Steve.
You catch that? The rusty nail? Pink champagne? Anything? No Joyride references? Nothing?
no.
Anyhow, okay. That was our episode for this week. And
That's it. All
tried
right, folks.
to get out of here to
Yeah,
skip
he's
2
trying
hours. But
trying to cut us off. All right, folks. I think that is all for Star Wars. And remember, when you listen to Star Wars Delusions of Granular, we are talking Star Wars,
yes,
not
walking.
hating Star Wars.
Yeah. Or gawking.
Gawking it.
Yeah, gawking at Star Wars.
But every day